Hey everybody, this is Jeff, your GM and storyteller. I'm back with another lore episode with my wonderful co-host, Marshall.
Hey, it's me, Marshall. I play Keegan, and I'm here to discuss lore with Jeff.
We do these lore episodes to kind of give more background to the world and flesh out things that people have had questions on. If you're not interested in these, feel free to skip them. They only help to add more depth to the world and give explanations for things. So we had a question from one of our listeners, AC Badgers, about the district of Sule'Nei, where the end of chapter 1 took place. So let's get into that.
And that is Sule'Nei, not to be confused with Sule'Nei.
Correct. Two rival districts, one south of where our heroes are, the other more north.
And we are talking about the more northern one, which is more mountainous and naturey.
Yeah, so the Sule'Nei House was originally created during the Rethi era, Big Campaign 3.
That was back when the whole area of Zerain was divided up into 9 quadrants for the 9 houses that ruled the area.
Each one of the 9 houses tied to the robot liches that controlled the world as gods at that time. Sule'Nei was most closely associated with the god Baleem, representing kind of a god of lies, was a living steel liquid metal lich. Following in that example, Sule'Nei intended to focus on arts and doctors' assassination kind of idea. They were, monasteries in the mountains that focused on learning how the bodies worked, learning how to manipulate and how to train humans to become better. And by humans, I mean any of the races. Because of that, that's how they found their position amongst the 9 houses, helping to work with the main house, which at that time was called Ephraim. Throughout most of Big Campaign 3, the Sule'Nei were used by me as go-to kind of ninjas, rogues, bards, all backed up with medical knowledge to allow them to hunt or deal with the players in dangerous ways. Their house weapon, as all the 9 houses had one, was Oz Thori, a ribbon dagger created by the Kaordi during one of the previous incursions when the Kaordi came back to this plane for a bit.
They primarily used Kiordi weapons in that district, did they not?
Correct. House weapons were mostly Kaordi. You had to work your way up to get a ribbon blade. After the fall of the gods, though, when we go to Big Campaign 4, towards the end of the Rethi era, without the god there to kind of guide them, they started to focus more on those 2 paths, going from assassins to more specialized either doctors or artists. No longer being hired by other houses to help kill, as the houses have become united by this point. They found themselves filling in a more necessary niche to be able to have a successful kind of country.
They focused on arts quite a bit, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Dancing, singing, circuses.
Correct. So this is where you'd see that reflected now through playwrights and musicians, and a lot come from that area. Though they adopted new technologies, they still kind of maintain at least a portion of that monastery in the mountains feel. They keep a lot of their area open up to like their reserves to keep a lot of nature, woods, forest, and whatnot. As the houses became united and as they finally became a full country, this is also a little bit of the start of where we see secret police start to come into the world. A final faction that never quite got rid of that assassination group. The Sule'Nei houses had shades or marls that helped to maintain peace in the country by removing threats to stability.
There was a library in the area too, was there not?
You mean like the vaults?
Yeah. Is that in the mountains of the Sule'Nei?
Correct. All of the 9 houses had their own vaults, which tied in with their original creators and robot gods. Sule'Nei's was tucked in the mountains, a vast library buried deep below that had access, or at least eventually started to succumb to the corrupting effects of necrosludge that dripped down into it.
Hence the standing stones to help prevent weird things coming back.
Yeah, you'd recognize those stones from the end of chapter 1. Oh, eventually as magic came back into the campaign, the Sule'Nei district is also where we start to see the beginning of kind of maguses and duskblades as people who are able to combine martial arts and magic at the same time. And that would be at the beginning of the industrial era.
That's Big Campaign 5, correct?
Correct.
And they, at that point, they still worship the 9 gods.
Yeah, imagine the nine gods are still kind of ever present, but they're not really focused on the worship of them anymore. A lot of those, the original fundamentalists, those who believe in the nine gods, truly left to create their own cities and country in Novasol, which is very far away from where the campaign takes place.
I was gonna say, so as we roll into Big Campaign 6, or the time frame of that, what changes does Sule'Nei go through?
Yeah, as they started with performers and assassins, worked their way into more doctors and then secret police. As we move into the industrial era, as well as the constant era, we see Sule'Nei expanding itself more into government. Though they still have those old schools dedicated to various arts, they find a very specific place in being part of that Justicari, the secret police seekers, as well as leading into stuff like the Coyote detectives. As we get ourselves into the constant era, they are now getting to the point where they're leading in technologies and trying to create their own technologies, things to help with surveillance and information. Of course, always in the shadow of Amon Advancements, the corporation that does rule the Zerane area. Sule'Nei has not found enough footing to break out on its own. They're still very beholden to Ty Freyland and the Amon Corporation.
Are there any corporations that are based out of the area?
There's quite a few. There's quite a few, but there's none that really stand out as big ones yet.
Sule'Nei now being home to a lot of, not state parks, but nature parks,
Mm-hmm.
the mountains, and a lot of warehouse districts.
Starting of, I guess their company that will be is Entech, which works on a combination of more technology plus magic to help with their surveillance and work with hunting down those who would be opposed to the nation. I'm trying to think if there's anything else beyond that.
I'm not seeing much additional history to be brought up. We kind of covered the current state of it. Got that famous Baja Burgers.
Oh, all the houses have colors, but for this one, for Sule'Nei, the house colors are red and gold, tying back to their original roots as being performers, doctors. Red for the blood, gold for the entertainment.
And as far as Sule'Nei and the other districts, is it more like New York and their boroughs, or different cities in general?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that the majority of the Zerane area is an urban sprawl, and so each district is what used to be houses that controlled property and land, or what used to be houses that controlled the property, instead now are districts of the larger city of Dargath that are controlled by the houses. So this would be Sule'Nei is the house that runs this district and kind of focuses where they go.
Yes, getting into a little more of the political side of things. Hope you don't mind me just asking questions a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the houses that control it, are they more a mayor of the area or a family that leads it?
There's a head of the house that helps the district maintain control in a way that helps the country and helps the greater Dargath Empire stay on its overall goal. What they are right now, not as many people know, but they tend to align pretty closely with what Amon wants.
So do all the heads of the districts meet up with one another to discuss things, how to run the area?
Correct, yes. Yeah, they all, of the 5 main districts, all the heads do meet up to discuss how they plan on taking Zerane into the future.
Sorry, I went rogue.
No worries.
How far out does the Sule'Nei district go? Does it touch the Spider Forest, or is that kind of independent of its own?
The very north part of the Sule'Nei district does run up against the Spider Forest, which goes mostly across the north part of the Sordai district.
Okay. Think of any more questions that may help get information about the district out there?
At least for now, all we have on Sule'Nei lore for you. Anything else you can think of, Marshall?
Not off the top of my head, but if anybody has any more questions, feel free to shoot us a message in all our locations. If you're on the Discord, Twitter, and I think we have an email?
Instagram. Alrighty, everybody. Well, thanks for your time. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to like, review, rate, subscribe, all that stuff. And of course, thanks for listening. Our intro and outro music is by Nihilor. The track's name is Aberration. Alright, bye!